Friends and family of the internet, welcome back to Starkey Farmstead, folks. So my name is Samantha and we have to talk about this. So right now you're hearing reports that ICE is deporting U.S. citizens.
Our Republicans just voted, every single one of them, to allow Donald Trump to deport U.S. citizens.
That is a sitting United States congressman lying to your face
about making sure that we follow ICE's own policy that it cannot detain U.S. citizens. And Mr. Liu is correct that it's batshit crazy that I got to introduce this amendment. But it is also the reality that I have to introduce this amendment because it is happening.
Let's talk about this. Is this real? Is this fabricated? Is it another fake story coming from the liberal media? Or is there some truth to this?
Detaining and deporting U.S. citizens. And so it is really important that my good colleagues on the other side vote for this amendment. And maybe I'm more hopeful for some bizarre reason than Mr. Goldman that maybe there's a couple of you that will. Maybe the chairman will. Maybe some of you will say that it is not appropriate for the Trump administration to deport U.S. citizens.
Know that we were demonetized for videos just like this. They don't want me to tell you that if they took away my money and began to unsubscribe people from my channel, that I would just disappear into the ether. Well, folks, I am the light in the darkness right now, and Sam is being a watcher on the tower. If you guys would like to sew into this, you can look in the top of comments, send whatever you can, because that helps me continue to be able to report on these topics.
That's not possible because there is no law you could pass that would allow you to deport U.S. citizens. There's nothing Congress could do. There's nothing the House could do. There's nothing the Senate could do. There's nothing the president could do that would allow you to be deported as a U.S. citizen. Because our rights as a citizen are guaranteed by the Constitution. So, to be able to deport U.S. citizens, you would need to have a constitutional convention. You'd need 2/3 of fucking everyone to be able to make that happen. It's not something that can be done through a law. It's not something that can be done through just a regular old vote. Members of Congress should not be allowed to lie to the American people.
I dug into this, and other people tried to, but there's legitimately no bill, no anything that you can find that says that ICE has actually arrested U.S. citizens. What this lady and what this sitting congressman from California is talking about is the 14th Amendment. They're talking about children or adults that were born in America from two parents that were illegal aliens in our country, undocumented. These people are getting scooped up. Right now, Trump has signed an executive order to stop birthright citizenship. And to be honest, that was never the purpose of the 14th Amendment. It has been abused repeatedly. You got 9-month pregnant illegal aliens trying their best to make it to their border to have that cash cow baby, that anchor baby. What Trump is trying to do is to make America work the way it's supposed to. So if you come here illegally and you have a baby, your baby will now be an illegal alien also. They won't automatically be a United States citizen because they were birthed on United States ground.
Breaking news. We're not going to believe this. I'm stunned that I have to tell you this. Republicans just voted, every single one of them, to allow Donald Trump to deport U.S. citizens.
Now, I'm speculating here, so let's just chat it out logically. You remember whenever Donald Trump and dictator Bukele were having that conversation in the Oval Office, and it was caught on a hot mic, and Trump was mentioning that, hey, we need to build more facilities over there like CCOT to hold the homegrowns. So that's what this is likely speaking to, right? They're going to announce this as, I'm guessing, I haven't heard anything else about this yet, but let's get ahead of it. They're going to come out and say it's only going to be the hardened criminals, okay? It's only going to be the murderers, the sexual abusers, right? Those types of people. If that's the case, everyone in prison already, you just move those guys over, right?
You see what I mean? I'm just speculating. That's all the Democrat Party is doing, because there is no bill signed by the President of the United States in the entire Republican Senate and Congress giving ICE permission to deport you. And if you believe that, for the love of God, educate yourself. Because you know what? There's nothing out there on this. There is no bill to look at. There is no executive order to see. Myself and other independent journalists have dug around, and the only thing people can do is speculate. Oh, he means prisoners. But you know, he's gonna go past prisoners and child molesters, and he's just gonna start taking his political opponents and throwing them in prisons in El Salvador. You know, it's funny that the Democrats always do that, but it's because you guys are narcissists, and literally what you try to do to Republicans and MAGA and conservatives, you legitimately think we are going to do it to you. Well, guess what? We don't roll like that. We actually believe in our Constitution. And the 14th Amendment was never meant to allow illegal aliens to come here and repopulate and replace American citizens.
You think would be the extent of it, right? But that's obviously not what we've seen with immigrants. They're straight up picking people off of the streets who haven't had a court hearing or they haven't been convicted of crimes, and they're still being shipped off.
Yes, they're illegal. They're here without permission. Now, one thing Trump is going to do in one of his big bills fixing to be passed, because you know we control the Senate and the Congress, is start charging unaccompanied minors when they get to the border. Whoever's going to house these children have to pay a fee. And if you're here seeking asylum, you have to pay a fee. Now, we're not the only country that's going to be doing this. Australia does it. Israel does it. Several first world countries charge for that. Because let me tell you something. How in the world can an illegal alien that's coming from a third world country have anywhere from $5,000 to $15,000 to pay a coyote and a human trafficker to get them across the border? I've never understood that. Like, where are you getting all that money to pay to get into this country illegally if you were coming from such a poverty-stricken country? Because I promise you, most Americans could not put their hands on $5,000 per head in their house in cash today to sneak into another country. We can't afford it because why? We're having to take care of all of you. Americans have had enough. We've had enough. We've had enough of the propaganda coming from some of these Congress people and Senate. Y'all are riling up people who are so emotionally unstable that they key Teslas. Seriously, like that's making a statement. I'm going to go key a Tesla today. When the sad thing is, 70% of Teslas are owned by other liberals. So you're keying people in your own party. I hope everybody who's had their Teslas keyed have now decided they don't want to be part of the mentally insane group anymore.
The same thing is going to happen here. This is about to move from just immigrants to United States citizens, and the same muddying of the waters is going to occur. Mark my words. This is our last chance to get out, hit the streets, and end this. This is the beginning of the end. He's going to start shipping off people who disagree with him. He's going to start locking up journalists. He's going to start... Dude, ICE is the new Gestapo, and it's time that we fully accept it. That's all there is to it.
But when you start seeing congressmen claiming that ICE is being funded so they can go arrest United States citizens and deport them, that is a fabricated lie. It is a misconception. You and I are not getting deported. Folks, they legally cannot do it. Okay? They can't. Now, 95,000 veterans have been deported from the United States. 95,000 veterans. They were illegal aliens. And the reason that they were deported was from a bill passed during President Clinton's second term that allowed the United States government to deport illegal aliens. And that is when you saw the majority of United States and or veterans being deported. That wasn't under a Republican president. Look at how many people have been deported from this country in the last 20 years. Barack Obama and Bill Clinton together deported over 20 million people, but the left isn't saying a thing. Trump's first term, 2.1 million is the highest estimate, 2.1 million. Bill Clinton deported and Barack Obama together deported 10 times that. There just comes a point where your Trump derangement syndrome is seriously showing. Your president is not Hitler, and ICE is not the Gestapo. We are not deporting American citizens. We are deporting illegal aliens and their children if they so choose to take them. We'll let them stay. But if we take them from them, you guys will claim we're kidnapping. So again, you can't have it both ways. What should be a law is that when Democrats get up and blatantly lie like this, because all day long on TikTok, I've heard how this is a fight between right and wrong, good and evil. American citizens are being deported. Gays and trans and LGBT community are losing their rights. Women are losing their rights. And I'm like, where, when, what? What rights have we lost?
Hell of a weekend that America has just been dragged through by our commander-in-chief.
Look at this picture right here. Look at it very closely. Why don't we have any new or fresh ideas around here? 5 white men. Carefully read what it says. That there will be no majority. No ethnicity will be the majority in America by 2050. That's why DEI counts. Sure does. And it says by 2050, 83% of immigrants will be the working population in America. Now you tell me to my face right now that replacement theory isn't real. Tell me that this isn't racist. You know, getting tired of it. I'm going to an elementary school this weekend. We've had 3 boxes purchased at $75. They're worm boxes for the children. If you and your family would like to donate $75 so I can make a 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, and 10th, please do. Just make sure your last name and your state is in the memo of whatever money order or money app you choose to use so I can make sure to tell the babies, hey, this came from Texas. This came from such and such in Oklahoma, and I can point out on a map where you guys are rowing in our boat from. Also, don't forget, we're growing an entire garden of organic food to give out in my very rural, poverty-stricken community. Now, I'm going to say this, and I don't care who gets offended because you guys already know how I feel about it. America, like every other European-based country, was always majority white. Other people have always been welcome if you get in the boat and you row in the same direction. But this nonsense about we have to allow anybody that births a baby here to be considered an American, and then we have to throw away our culture to accommodate you, and we have to pay for you to be here, has got to stop. Because let me ask you this. How's life for you? How is your financial situation going, friend? Do you feel like you're living in the land of milk and honey right now? Do you feel like you're living how God intended for his children to live? Because here's the thing. I don't need slaves. Never wanted them. Think it's a stupid idea. The Democrats sure do like them. They're the slave party from the Civil War, and now they legitimately complain when ICE picks up illegal immigrants that are working in this country because they do jobs nobody else will do.
Right outside my house, shackling up a bunch of women right now on their way to work, doing the job most people won't do.
But they don't hear themselves. They don't hear the racism dripping off of their mouth. There's no white guilt here. There's just a love of people and love of my country. If you'd like to row with us, please look in the top of comments to do so. Otherwise, have a blessed and wonderful night. We just got back. I am literally exhausted and I'm going to bed.